Welcome back, everyone, to the HNL Movement podcast. Have an exciting episode planned for today, and this is something that we've been planning for a while, and we've been waiting to do it live when you actually came home. But I want to introduce, no introduction needed, but Tim Kamana is our guest today, and he has a great story, great football career and everything. But thanks so much for joining me, Tim.
I appreciate you having me. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
This is gonna be a good one. Yes, we've been actually talking about this, I think, since like last year.
Since you started.
Since I started, yeah. So it's good to actually have the time to sit down, and you're here for a few weeks. So thanks for making the time again.
Of course.
But yes, let's just jump straight into your story. There's so many things we're gonna talk about. So let's start with your childhood. I guess growing up, what was that like? And then we're talking a little bit before this, but you were going to play football from the time that you were born. So let's share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right there on the head. I was going to play football as soon as I came out. I mean, that's what was destined for me. I wasn't going to play anything else. I wasn't going to play tennis, or I wasn't going to play even soccer or basketball. I grew up in a football family, from all the way back to my grandpa. Played linebacker and center at USC, University of Southern California. My dad and his twin brother, my Uncle John, followed suit. My Uncle John played at University of Southern California as well, and my dad played at Michigan State. So naturally, as a kid growing up, you want to live up to the expectations, and you want to fill the shoes, and you also want to make your family proud. You want to make the male figures in your life, most importantly, those guys proud, right? And so, I always wanted to live up to those expectations and actually exceed those expectations, which made it for an interesting upbringing and interesting childhood, because, growing up in Hawaii, when you have a dad and an uncle and a grandpa who were, Mr. Everything for where they went, and, growing up, everybody knows everybody here in Hawaii, right? So, no matter where I went, my dad always knew somebody. We'd have to stop and talk to somebody, and everybody would be, your dad was a great athlete. You gonna play football too? You got big shoes to fill. I would constantly hear that, big shoes to fill. But I think you can kind of take two approaches as a child, right? Is to either shy away from that. Maybe even I've seen folks or other children who don't want to have to be in that shadow, or have to try and break their way out of that shadow, and so maybe they decide to play something else or do something else completely. But for me, it almost was a driver, a motivator. Okay, you think that they're good? Let's see what you think about me, right? Yes. So interesting upbringing, but I told both my dad and my uncle from an early age that I wanted to be somebody, right? I wanted to be, the next Michael Jordan, the next Tiger Woods, the next any big time athlete is who I wanted to be, right? And so, just from a young age, they also pushed me, to fill those expectations and live up to what I was saying that I wanted to do.
So when did you actually start playing football more competitively, I guess?
So I started playing in the 5th grade. I wanted to play so bad the year before when I was in the 4th grade, but my mom just would not give my dad the approval to let me start playing that early. She was, worried about me getting injured or, hitting my head too hard. So, she really had to pull the reins back for that extra year. But yeah, I started playing competitive football, Pop Warner, in Manoa Valley, when I was in the 5th grade. And then, the rest is history.
Yes. Did you play any other sports prior to football?
Yeah. So, growing up, I played soccer, basketball. I actually was big into martial arts growing up. So I took Taekwondo for about 7-8 years. Tried baseball, wasn't my thing. I actually came home after the first day of practice and told my mom that I wasn't going back.
Why was that?
I think I got a little bit of a later start. Okay. So looking back on that first day, I still remember it. I felt out of place.
Got it. How old were you? Elementary school still yet?
Yeah, I was elementary
Okay.
school. I must have been like maybe 7 or 8. But I
Okay.
mean, kids get started playing baseball at like 4 or 5 years old. So a lot of the guys that were on the team that I went to practice with, they all knew each other. They all had been playing with each other, and they all were wearing like their baseball gear. I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and I just felt just like I didn't belong,
Yes.
you know. And so, for whatever reason, I just said I don't want to go back. I'm not comfortable. But you can always look back with hindsight 2020 and say, I wish I would have stuck it out or played baseball. But, I've always been a believer in not making the right decision. It's just making a decision and making it right.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that was my decision at the time. And that's what I rocked with.
Yes.